on High Impact Radio 102.1 FM Lagos. Reviews, videos, and interviews just the way you like it. Exclusive on High Impact Radio 102.1 FM Lagos. Sports Hub for all the updates and analysis.
Hey, High Impact.
Hi, how may I help you?
So I have chess game with my friend later on today. When is the best time to play chess game?
I guess you're bored. Usually in the evening, but definitely before you are too tired. My very best chess, of course, is generally played at the times when I'm winning, unless my opponent decides to take a bow.
I'm definitely not taking a bow. Thank you.
I hope you win.
Hey, High Impact.
Hi, how may I help you?
Who is the fastest man in the world?
That's very simple. It's Usain Bolt. He is the fastest runner on the planet, setting the world record for the shortest 100 meters sprint time of 9.58 seconds.
Wow, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, High Impact.
Hi, how may I help you?
I've been curious. Who exactly is the youngest swimmer in the world?
Oh, I'll tell you. Alzen Tarek, age 10, is the youngest and fastest swimmer in World Championships history. Tarek has been swimming competitively since the age of 4.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I'm glad I wowed you.
Hey, High Impact.
Hi, how may I help you?
Who is the shortest basketball player in the world?
I like your curiosity. I'll tell you. Muggsy Bogues is the shortest player in the National Basketball Association history, listed at 5 feet 3 inches tall. He was drafted 12th overall by the Washington Bullets in 1987.
Oh, wow, that's interesting.
I'm glad you asked.
Hey, High Impact.
Hi, how may I help you?
Which club is the first to win Champions League?
That's very easy. Real Madrid. The first Champions League was won by Real Madrid during the 1955 and 1956 season.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
You're listening to Sports in Ajiffy on High Impact Radio 102.1 FM Lagos.
Sports in Ajiffy is live on your radio, Impact Radio 102.1 FM Monday. Today, first day in the month of June, year 2026. And of course, the first installment of the show for this brand new and amazing month of June. Let me let you know that new months, new goals, and new victories, because it's just 10 days to the start of the FIFA World Cup right there in USA, Canada, and also Mexico. Another opportunity for us to enjoy premium football right at the Mundial. Another chance to push harder, to train smarter for the players, and also stay focused on the goal, because that is the most important thing. Let me let you know that for every champion that you see out there, they've all started with the decision to keep going, even when the journey became difficult. Remember, success doesn't just come from what you do occasionally, it comes from what you do consistently. Talk about consistency is what we've seen from Arsenal, especially in the just concluded season, getting to the final of the UEFA Champions League. Of course, bar every other thing that happened in that particular match against Paris Saint-Germain. Talk about Paris Saint-Germain, who have also been putting in the work. Talk about all of the setbacks that they've been able to endure in the time past. Of course, if you recall, Paris Saint-Germain has spent over 2 billion euros on players transfers in about 5 years before they now won the Champions League back-to-back under Nasser Khelaïfi right there. Talk about your biggest composition being the person you were yesterday. Welcome to this amazing month, whether you're on the field, whether you're on the track, whether you're in the court, whether you're in the gym. It's always best to give your effort every single day. Remember that the results may not show immediately, but persistence always pays off. And talk about persistence is what we'll also talk about the young San Antonio Sports team, who have now also made the NBA Finals for the first time, making history in that particular one. The second youngest finals team, that's talking about the Spurs, who have now become the youngest team to reach the NBA Finals in the short clock era. We'll talk more about that in the course of the show this morning. Sports in Ajiffy on Empire Radio 102.1 FM. We serve this package Mondays to Fridays from 10 a.m. down to the flip side of 10, 72 in beat and in pieces, tiptoeing all of the major stories currently making the rounds in the ever exciting, ever dynamic, and sometimes controversial world of sport. Ayodeji Ajiboye is my name. Absolute honor to be your host on the show this morning. Don't forget I can keep track of this update and more by following us across all social media platforms. We are live on our Facebook fan page at iImpact Radio 102.1 FM. We're also live on our YouTube channel at iImpact 102.1 FM. And to the switch of the back of the net right about now, I'll be getting the show on the road. Ayodeji Ajiboye is my name. Absolute honor to be your host on the show. This one will start with us coming through from the home front, because I always tell you that charity, they say, begins from home. I talk about the Super Falcons of Nigeria, who are now expected to start arriving camp in Ikenne, Ogun State, ahead of their upcoming pre-WAFCON double-header friendlies against Senegal. This yesterday, the Nigerian Football Federation announced that head coach Justin Madugu has released the 23-player squad for the matches, which will come after the 10-time African champions missed other windows to prepare for the 2026 WAFCON. A lot of talk concerning the Super Falcons are getting a suitable, friendly opponent in the last couple of months, but then we're finally seeing this particular Senegalese team taking up the task to play against the Queens of African football. Remember that there was supposed to be a 4-nation tournament that was supposed to involve the Senegalese around March, if I'm still getting that correctly, but that did not happen as the 4-nation tournament, come into fruition. There were times when they were said that they were going to play against the Jamaican ladies. That did not also come out. There were times they were supposed to play against the Ghanaian ladies. Also did not come into fruition. But now the new list that was released yesterday includes likes of Captain Rasheedat Ajibade, goalkeeper Chiamaka Nnadozie, and informed veteran forward Asisat Oshoala. Likes of Ngozi Okobi, Okeo Geneo also retaining a place in the squad after returning during recent friendlies against Cameroon, following a 3-year absence, while forwards Francisca Odega and also Gift Monday were also returning to the squad. Super Falcons will be hosting Senegal on Friday, 5th of June, with the second match between both teams scheduled for Monday, June 8th. Both games will be taking place at the Remo Star Sports Complex in Ikenne, Remo. Senegal will also face host Morocco, Algeria, and Kenya in Group A of the Women's African Cup of Nations, which will be held in Morocco from July 25 to August 16 later this year. While the 10-time champions Nigeria will be taking on Egypt, Zambia, and also debutant Malawi in Group C. Expected is from this friendly is to form a part of the preparations from the continental tournament as Madugu continues to assess the squad ahead of that particular one. Now, moving on from that story right now, still more thoughts coming through from the world of football on the show this morning. Talk about age grade football right now. Talk about the Flamingos who were high flying yesterday against their opponent right there, making sure that they got 5 goals in the first half of that particular encounter to cement their place in the next round of the Under-17 Women's World Cup qualifiers. Nigeria Under-17 Women's team, the Flamingos, defeated Guinea 6-0 in the second leg of their 2026 FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup qualifier yesterday to complete an emphatic 11-0 aggregate victory. After winning the first leg 5-0, the Flamingos produced another impressive performance at the Remo Star Stadium in Ikenne to move into the final round of the qualifiers. They doubled their lead just in the 21st minute. And by the stroke of halftime, they were already 5-0 up. That's like a comfortable win for them. And they will now be facing Benin in the third and final qualifying round for a place at the 2026 FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup in Morocco, with the first leg to be played between July 3 and 5, while the returning leg is going to be played and scheduled for July 10 to 12. In other fixtures that were played yesterday, Senegal will be taking on Ghana, Zambia will be taking on Ethiopia, while South Africa will be meeting up with Kenya. Moving on from that story right now, quickly back into the camp of the Super Eagles of Nigeria, who will now be preparing for the friendly against Poland set for that particular trip. Though a couple of players will be missing that particular trip, the likes of Victor Osimhen and also Ademola Lookman. Victor Osimhen, plenty of talks in the last couple of days, but yes, he has also come out to say that whatever it is that the coach had said was being blown out of proportion by the media. But in a nutshell, he's not going to be part of that particular friendly. And if I'm not mistaken, it's been a long time since Victor Osimhen last played in a friendly for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. If I'm getting it correctly, that should be against Guinea. And possibly that should be like in 2022. Bar the injury, bar a couple of setbacks, is not always available for Nigerian friendlies. Let's be clear with that. Well, the Nigerian senior national team, the Super Eagles, are expected to arrive in Poland yesterday as preparations continue for the international friendly match against the Polish national team. The friendly encounter will be played in Warsaw on June 3 and forms part of the team's build-up to upcoming African Cup of Nations qualifying matches is going to be starting in the September international window. Head coach Eric Cheo will be without two of his key attacking players, like I mentioned. Both Ademola Lookman and Victor Osimhen will not be available for the games against Poland and also Portugal. Lookman is said to be given time off after a long and demanding season, while Osimhen has excused to attend to issues that are more of personal reasons right now. The victory coming through from the Super Eagles just on Saturday after defeating Jamaica 3-0 in the defense of the Unity Cup title, making sure that Nigeria continues an impressive record in the competition. And away from the Super Eagles story right now, let's take a bit of other thoughts coming from other sports on the home front before we skedaddle and go straight to Europe. Middlebelt Tigers have been crowned champions of the inaugural Super League after defeating Southern Sharks by 6 runs in a closely fought final. The Tigers showed great determination and composure throughout the match to secure victory and make history as the first winners of the competition. David Ankara and also Elijah Olaleye for the standout performance with the bats, helping their team post a competitive total, and their important contributions gave the Tigers a strong platform in the finals. This is the first time that this competition is going to be held, and kudos to the Middlebelt Tigers for being crowned champions of that particular one. Moving straight into athletics talks on the show this morning, Nigerian sprint hurdler Tobiloba Amushon produced an outstanding performance to win the women's 100-meter hurdles at the Rabat Diamond League in Morocco just yesterday. The 29-year-old crossed the finish line in 12.28 seconds, finishing ahead of Devin Charlton, who recorded the 12.48 seconds, and Nadine Visa, who came third in 12.47 seconds. The victory is now marking Amushon's second career win in the event at the Rabat Diamond League and saw her set a new meeting record with a time of 12.28 seconds. I raised the previous record of 12.45 seconds, which she established at the same competition just last year. Former world champion will now turn our attention to the next Diamond League meeting, the Golden Gala Pietromena in Rome, Italy, which is scheduled for June 4th. Right there. Still more athletics talks on the show this morning. Sports in Ajiffy on Impact Radio 102.1 FM. Don't forget, I'm serving it to in bits and in pieces on the show this morning. Tiptoeing all of the major stories currently making the rounds in the ever exciting, ever dynamic, and the sometimes controversial world of sports. I always tell you that whether you're a sports person or you are just someone who loves the thrill of the game, or you're an athlete yourself, this is the best place for you to be, because the early bird has gone around the world to catch the scores, and I am more than willing to serve it to you fast, with a fact, and I'll be making it compact to your listening pleasure. Nigerian high jumper and national record holder Temitope Adesina has booked a place at the NCAA Outdoor Championship scheduled for June 10 to 13 right in Eugene, Oregon. Adesina topped the women's high jump standings at the NCAA West preliminary round on Saturday evening at the John McDonnell Field, clearing a 1.87 meter alongside her Texas Tech teammate Evelyn Lavelle. The Nigerian was the only one of the only 2 jumpers in the field to clear all her height without a miss and finished first overall, while Lavelle placed 4th. She's now heading to her 3rd consecutive NCAA Outdoor Championship and will be hoping to claim the outdoor title that has eluded her since arriving in the collegiate ranks. Moving on from that story right now, we quickly go away from the on front on the show to talk about other sports. Of course, we'll be right back to talk more about football on the on front just after that particular one, right in the world of basketball on the show this morning. Like I did mention, that the San Antonio Spurs are now forming the second youngest team to make it to the finals of the NBA. Victor Wembanyama scored 22 points as San Antonio Spurs beat defending champions, the Oklahoma City Thunder, 111 to 103 points to reach the NBA Finals for the first time since 2014, where they will now be facing up against the New York Knicks. San Antonio coach Mitch Johnson had called on Wembanyama to score more than 20 points after a disappointing showing in Game 5, and an inspired 28 points all by the 22-year-old Frenchman on Friday helped level the best of 7 series at 3-3 and save his childhood dream, which is now within touching distance. You can tell that the Spurs last won the NBA showpiece in 2014, while the Knicks will compete in the finals finals for the first time in 27 years. Two teams who are looking to make a record for themselves this year in the NBA. It's also said to be a rematch of the 1999 NBA Finals, which is San Antonio won in 5 games for the first of 5 NBA championship. Plenty of talks are coming through from that particular one, and we are looking forward to seeing the NBA Finals will begin on 3rd of this month with a possible Game 7 finale on 19th of June, and that is if it eventually gets into Game 7, but plenty of us do not want it to go that far. More talks coming through from the show this morning, away from the world of NBA right about now. Let's go straight into the world of tennis, where it's now official that for this year's French Open, no previous champion is left. Now, the big story is who will be seizing the chance in the ATP. Likes of Yannick Sinner has been dumped out. Likes of Novak Djokovic have been dumped out. Well, Carlos Alcaraz did not even play at all. While in the WTA, the likes of Iga Swiatek has been dumped out. The likes of Anna Sabalenka has also been dumped out right there. So yes, let's take a look at how it all happened for some of the big names in the world of tennis at the ongoing French Open. You can also call it the Roland Garros. When Iga Swiatek was dumped out of the French Open just yesterday, it meant that there was no previous champion left in either the men's or the women's singles draws. An opportunity is now knocking for some of the players, Grand Slam champions and highly ranked players led by Anna Sabalenka, who, of course, will now be remaining in the women's tournament, which it was always anticipated would be a scrap. While for the men's draws, been predicted to be a one-horse race to be won by top seed Yannick Sinner, and is now guaranteed that there will be a first-time Grand Slam winner in both the WTA and also the ATP. A lot of amazing games that has happened. I would like to Yao Fonseca, the man who did the unthinkable against Novak Djokovic just a couple of days ago, showing that he's got the title credentials by backing up Djokovic win with another win against Casper Ruud. Casper Ruud, who is a 2-time finalist, was also being dumped out by the same Yao Fonseca. In the 3rd round, he won against Novak Djokovic. Definitely in that particular one, overpowering the 15th seed to a brushing 7-5, 7-6, 5-7, 6-2 game right in that particular one, capping off another astonishing day right in Paris. Talk about the games he's played against the likes of Andy Rublev, the games he's played against the likes of Jakub Menšić. Most definitely, he also played against Joda right to make it to the semi-final right there. So most definitely another player that you can be looking forward to now has to be Yao Fonseca. But of course, there's another title favorite that a lot of people might not be putting so much attention on, which is Alexander Zverev, who has now reached 15 finals on clay, winning 9 titles, including 4 at the ATP 1000 level. He's now the 2nd seed and 29-year-old, long marking as a future Grand Slam champion. But despite reaching finals at 3 of the 4 majors and leading Carlos Alcaraz by 2 sets at the French Open in 2024, he's still searching for his maiden title, and possibly maybe this is the time when that title is going to be coming straight for Alexander Zverev. Currently underway in the round of 16 is Flavio Cobolli up against Zachary Sherda, and later today in the women's is going to be Dan Perry up against Macha Choslinka. For the men's round of 16 game, there's Alejandro Tabilo and also Felix Auger-Aliassime. While later today in the round of 16, Naomi Osaka will be up against Aryna Sabalenka. As well in the round of 16 for the women's, Anastasia Potapova and also Anna Kaliskaya will also be playing. There's Madison Keys up against Jana Schneider, and for the men's, there's Matteo Berrettini up against Gian Manuel Cerundolo. Francis Tiafoe later today will be up against Matteo Anaudi for the singles games that will be completed later today, and from then we'll be seeing the teams that will be straight into the next round of the ongoing French Open. A couple of players have made it to the quarterfinals already. Likes of Elina Svitolina, likes of Marta Kostyk. While for the men's, you have likes of Rafael Joda, likes of Alexander Zverev. For still a couple of other players who have made it through with the WTA, you have likes of Mira Andreeva, Sorana Siste, likes of Jakub Menšić, and also Yao Fonseca. All of these players to look forward to right in the French Open for this year. Plenty of thoughts coming through from the world of tennis on the show this morning, but let's let's get away from that and go straight into the world of football. Yes, just this one is now being said that James Milner has announced his retirement from professional football. The former England international who has now called it a time on his illustrious career, announcing that he's going to be retiring from professional football, bringing an end to a career spanning over 2 decades in the Premier League. The 40-year-old, known for his versatility and also consistency, was out of contract after spending the past 3 seasons with Brighton and Hove Albion. Currently, James Milner holds the record for the most appearances in the Premier League history, a milestone he reached earlier this year. Recall that he began his career with Leeds United before playing for the likes of Newcastle United, Aston Villa, Manchester City, Liverpool, and also Brighton and Hove Albion, making over 600 appearances and becoming one of the most reliable utility players in English football. Best wishes to James Milner right there, calling it a time on his playing career. And earlier today as well, the former Liverpool head coach Arne Slot has now issued an emotional farewell message to supporters following his departure from the club, insisting he leaves Anfield with the team still amongst Europe elite. The Dutchman was sacked on Saturday after just 1 season in charge following Liverpool's 5th place finish in the Premier League, despite winning the title in his debut campaign. And in an open letter published in the Liverpool page earlier this morning, Slot reflected on his time at the club and thanked fans for their support throughout his tenure. And the Slotties 47 guided Liverpool to their 20th league title in his first season, but the club endured a difficult follow-up campaign marked by inconsistency and heavy defeat in all competitions. But despite that, he highlighted the achievement of securing championship qualification as a key positive for his time right with Liverpool. And talking about Liverpool on the show this morning, it's been said that the team is now set to open formal talks with Andoni Iraola over becoming the club's new head coach following the departure of Arne Slot. The Reds parted ways with Slot on Saturday, just 1 year after he guided the club to that title. And Liverpool's hierarchy are keen to appoint a successor quickly, with Iraola emerging as the leading candidate for the role. The 43-year-old Spaniard enjoyed a successful spell at Bournemouth, leading the Cherries to their highest ever Premier League finish and also qualifying them for European football. From that right now, let's go straight into some of the friendlies that were played yesterday in the pre-World Cup preparations for some of the countries. Last night, United States played against Senegal and it was 3-2 win. Sadio Mane scoring a brace for the Senegalese right in that game. Likes of Sergio Dest, Christian Pulisic, and also Folarin Balogun getting on the score sheet for the United States men right there. The goal started in 26 minutes of that particular one, and that marked Christian Pulisic ending a 5-month scoring drought for both club and country, with his first international goal since November 2024 in that 3-2 win over Senegal yesterday. Brazil also ran riot against Panama with the likes of Vinicius Junior, Casemiro, and 4 others getting on the score sheet. It was 6-2 victory over Panama in that particular game yesterday, and a couple of other matches that were played. Quickly, let me give you some of the results of the games that were played yesterday in the international friendlies ahead of the World Cup. Ecuador were 2-1 winners over Saudi Arabia. South Korea played against Trinidad and Tobago. Mexico played up 1-0 win over Australia. Japan defeated Iceland just 1-0. Switzerland played 4-1 against Jordan. I saw this game yesterday and I can tell, well, I think Jordan definitely needs to do more if they are going to, give a fight in the World Cup, because at the point in time in that particular game, there were 2 penalties for the Switzerland guys. I think one came in the 28th minute and another one came just before the stroke of halftime. That was one that was scored by Granit Xhaka. Ending the first half going down 3-0, and then they came back. I think they scored their own goal in around the 50th minute or so. I was seeing that guy, I'd be like, look here, a lot of work needs to be done by this team, only if they are going to be the whooping boys in their group. Likes of Czech Republic played 2-1 against Kosovo. Cape Verde defeated Serbia 3-0. This team is going into the World Cup as an underdog, and we're looking forward to seeing how they'll be able to put up a great fight in that one. Ukraine were 2-0 winners over Poland. Jam defeated Finland 4-0. Brazil, like I mentioned, were 6-2 winners over Panama. Yesterday, we also saw the the Women's FA Cup final between Brighton and Hove Albion and also Manchester City. And for Nigeria's shortstopper Chiamaka Nnadozie, that's like a big FA Cup heartbreak for her because she endured a disappointment at Wembley when her team fell 4-0 to Manchester City women, and that means that Manchester City did the cup doubles in the English Premier League. Don't forget that their men also won the men's FA Cup earlier on in this particular campaign. Sports in Ajiffy on Empire Radio 102.1 FM, and I'll be serving it in Ajiffy on the show this morning. Don't forget I'll be back here later this evening between 6 p.m. down to 7 p.m. on the Sports Talk Show, where I'll be doing 1 hour of banter, 1 hour of rage, 1 hour of views, reviews, and all of the major interviews. Serving it to you just the way you like it. Your day Ajiboye is signing out this morning. I always tell you to stay sporty, stay active, drink enough water to stay hydrated. Go out there and be the best version of yourself. Remember to be kind, because kindness is cool. You go out this morning and you meet someone on your way without a smile on their face, please do out to give them a bit of yours. Always remember that you can be the rainbow in someone else's dark cloud. Have a blessed and amazing month of June. I love you with the love of God.
From the grains of golf to the